Yep.
Hey, Podcast America. Welcome to episode 71 of the Enlightened Neanderthals podcast. And before we get started, we'll talk about my own company, Training Northwest. We have our final course of the year coming up October 5th. You can register for that on the website, trainingnorthwestllc.com. We are also a dealer of Vortex Optics.
Very good.
Which you can find under the Pro Shop tab on the website.
Yeah.
And if you are local here in Snohomish County, Washington, and you purchase an optic from Training Northwest, you get to come out to the range and zero it at no cost, which I think is a pretty good little deal.
Nice.
That's a very good deal.
Yeah. And if you don't see the optic you want on the website, just let me know and I'll get it here.
Nice.
Because I don't carry a lot of stock because I don't have that kind of budget.
You'd also need a display case.
Space in the old safe.
Space in the old safe. That's true.
You know?
No, a display case.
Display case. Where?
Like a jewelry store. Yeah, you should have a storefront. That'd be so cool if we walked in there. And you're like, oh, look at this scope. Hand me one. Yeah, like a bartender for scopes.
Just need a lot of budget.
Yeah, don't we all?
Okay, Mike, Jordan.
This is
you believe this?
It was good, dude.
Well, Dan Carlin wrote a book called The End is Always Near. Yeah. And as the podcast went, that's what you guys were hoping for. So we will leave it there, and you guys go ahead and enjoy this show at Dan Carlin's The End is Always Near book report.
That's right. And I said it on the back end, which was only a few minutes ago, so I'm going to say it on the front end. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, leave us a review on Spotify or iTunes because it helps us get the word out as the algorithm changes. Enjoy the show.
But it wasn't the best.
Yeah, but that's just, it's a new walk, dude.
New walk.
It's new. How could you be expected to knock it out of the park in the first night with a new walk?
It's hard to perform. Yeah.
No.
It was, a lot of things were new. The burner is new. Everything matters. It's like archery. You get a different release.
The heat
you get
balance
different
is
arrow.
different.
Yeah. Everything affects it.
Yeah, you changed up everything and thought you were going to perform.
My fault.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, and the walls make a difference. Like how the other one's a little bit bigger and the walls aren't as
way
deep.
bigger.
Yeah,
that one's smaller, so it takes longer to cook.
So I have to cook,
and then it fries the bottom
flipping.
Yeah. It's too high up there.
I know what you mean. That's why I kept saying
a little Chinese guy.
Anyway,
you need a lower walk.
Yeah, I got to lower my walk in life.
So book report, huh, boys?
Book report.
This was my pick, and it was Dan Carlin's The End is Always Near. And because Tobin loves this shit for some reason, it was a New York Times bestseller, and it was published by Harper Collins in 2019.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, Harper Collins.
Good publishing house,
I guess. Yeah. Right out the gate, my if I was going to give it a 1 out of 10 score, I'd probably say a 7.5.
I think I'm about a 6.
Not.
I like how you guys recommend these books that aren't.
Well,
10s.
okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. Honestly, it wasn't a book that I had any
we're also
about.
not always going to recommend a book that we've already read.
You have to.
No, you don't.
I want to know your best stuff.
Oh, great.
It's coming.
We're going to run out very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like we're reading Holes next, boys.
Holes. Oh, shit, dude.
About a boy and a shovel.
It's not bad, but this book is like, I feel like it's what talking to me is. Because
it never got to the point.
Exactly.
But, okay, so, here's the deal.
Let me tell you why I picked it. I picked this because I figured you two history nerds would enjoy this.
Because it's Dan Carlin.
Well, because it's Dan Carlin, it's history and it's
a large perspective,
apocalyptic. In nature,
and I wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah,
and I downloaded it back in 2019 when it first came out, and I listened to it then, and I really wanted.
So you listened to it,
yes?
Because I'll tell you what, listening to it, I think would probably be much better than reading it.
Yes,
and because Dan Carlin's the one who's
right. Normally, I prefer to read like an actual paper book, but because I love his podcast, the Hardcore History. Which, if anybody listening to this hasn't heard that, go listen because it is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Read the book too.
Yeah, I wanted to listen to the book just for the sake of, because he's such a great orator.
Yeah.
And it left me kind of wondering, like, what the fuck are we talking about? And I actually went back and listened to the preface today on the way here.
And he admits it.
Yes. Yes. He says exactly that. Yeah. There is no argument. There's no thesis. It's just, he's just presenting some things that happened leading to the fall of civilizations. Mm-hmm. But so I still think there's an overarching idea, which is that he's sort of trying to warn us that society is fragile.
Yes.
And we have this like hubris that society as we know it is just going to go on in perpetuity. And it's especially relevant now in 2024. It'd be interesting to interview him 5 years later, just because more like we're closer to nuclear war, we're closer to financial meltdown. So all these things that he was sort of foreshadowing we're much closer to now than we were when he wrote this.
I 100% agree with that. I think that's a good way of putting it. I think especially too, he's a good one to listen to history because he takes you into the emotional accounts of people and individuals and gives you more of a perspective. And when you can kind of humanitize something or make it like what it anthropomorphize, you give something that doesn't have human characteristics. I think if you look at the apocalypse or why things are destroyed in high levels of civilization, I think you see a lot of like the 7 deadly sins. It's kind of saying, but it's like gluttony, it's greed, there's all these individual things that can take you down. And that's the same way with civilizations falling. Some of it's climate change and weather. Some of it's the people and the greed and how much do they think they can affect it. Some of it is random, like the disease and stuff and famine, like disease of crops and disease of people. Like there are little different things and it's not always one thing. Each one of those things has taken down a society.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's why it's good to like follow the Bible a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because that it talks about all of it, right? And it corrects the things that need to be corrected if you're living by that. You know.
Well, and he talks a lot about Sumeria and Mesopotamia. And what was the first one when they had clay tablets?
He was talking about the end of the Bronze Age at the beginning.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
There was tons of examples, but I think specifically those Middle Eastern countries that were like in the beginnings of the Bible. And
Assyria.
Yeah. And not only was Assyria old itself and lived for a long time, but they said they were built on the buildings of someone else before them, like 1,000 years, 500 years earlier.
Oh, so rhubarb pie. Rhubarb pie.
Shit.
Rhubarb pie.
Pee break, make them early. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Warm and cold.
Dang.
How do you like it?
In my pie hole.
In your mouth. Yeah. Oh, shit.
She didn't bring you any, Mike.
Notice that?
I'm on a diet.
It's a bummer, dude.
I live here. I eat pie all the time.
Okay, what were we saying?
4 Horsemen in the Apocalypse.
Yeah, the tablets.
Oh, but like, yeah, other like even old places say that there was people before them, and it's so like you're saying, listen to those stories of the Bible. But then if you were those people, it's like listen to the stories about 1,000 years before us. There was someone else that built a town in an area, and they fell apart. We somehow got back collected here and rebuilt this area. It's interesting to see like there's certain societies that seem to have always risen to power and stayed in it. And I think China is one of the best examples. Like they are thousands of years old, whereas like other countries have risen and fallen and had their dynasties, you know, like a lot of European countries have risen and fallen, like the power of France, the power of Italy, the power, you know, you look at all these different areas and they rose, but then there was someone else before them. And it's like, I just keep getting hung up that's how we're not linear. We're so much up and down, up and down, up and down. and something big could happen, like decimate people for a couple thousand years. Again, it's like you wouldn't know. And you're like, we built these cities, but it's like, oh shit, we're built on top of other cities.
Yeah, and he makes the point in his preface that, again, we have this idea that life as we know it will go on in perpetuity, but 1,000 years from now, just like you're saying, archaeologists may be poking around the ruins of Snohomish.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, look at this.
Yeah. They're going to find a fossil of me. And they're like, what the fuck? This guy's got such a huge...
Yeah, but also they're all...
Look at the imprint it left in the sand.
Yeah. There are all these things that can take you out, but to be a place like a China or like parts of Europe that have been in power for thousands of years almost, not really so much Europe, but more of Asia, or Egypt, and they still have cultural relevance. They do have commerce and trade. A lot of it's probably in arms, but, they're relevant. They haven't completely gone out. America is very young. We're a new country.
Brand new.
We think we have the best doctrine and ideas, but it's like, all right, let's see how that lasts for 1,000 years. Let's see your temples in 1,000 years. Will the monuments of Washington still be standing, or does it?
We're building strip malls, buddy.
Yeah, certain countries all throughout, like even USSR, and look at like the idea of countries agreeing and come together, and then that falling apart. That's our most current example, but it's existed all throughout Europe for so much because Europe's way more tribal or small land pockets of people.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's a... Go ahead.
I'm willing to bet that we are built on a civilization that came before us in the Americas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you dig deep enough...
Yeah. Well,
sure
it's like you'll have teepees and stuff for sure, and you'll have primitive, but
that's more like post-disaster.
Yeah,
I think I agree with Graham Hancock's account that there was probably a civilization here before whatever disaster hit.
Well, then, okay, another part I thought that was interesting, though, in that book is the very first chapter when they talked about what is toughness and what makes strong people. And this is something I've never really thought of until being at this gym for, like, the last amount of time I've been there. And the ideas that the people there bring up a lot is like, you're trying to fight, right? But at this gym, it seems like it's been more like, how do you harness what fighting is? How do you stay in the zone? How do you keep a strong spirit? So, like, what does it mean to be tough? What does it mean to push past where normally someone else would give up? And that first chapter really talked about toughness of, like, how do you create a tough person? Are tough people are they viewed tough in their society, or they're tough because of the things that happen? Like, so much in the history, like, example of Sparta, where it's like children were like
cast off cliffs.
The deformed ones. And then the Spartan children went and lived, and they were taught to steal and not get caught, or they were taught to steal to survive in their camps. But then when they got caught, they'd get extra punished, but they told the kids to celebrate the stealing. So it's like you're making crazy, and then you're putting them out and killing people. Like, that was like such a harsh lifestyle. And then they would talk about public executions, and they would have children go to the public executions at 4, 5, and 6 and beat them. Like, talk about things that they did in the past. Like the things
but they'd be beating the kid watching the execution to add a pain factor to the whole experience.
But they would talk about things that kid did in the past. Like, you fucking didn't milk the goat, you son of a bitch, and a guy's getting his head chopped off, and you're made to watch that. Does that make you tougher? Like, these people going through these experiences? Like,
what would be the modern day version of that?
Having your phone taken away. It's
like right. Your mom suspends your Xbox account.
Yeah, but that's our version. So it's like that.
That's almost like cutting off a hand in a certain.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
You're certainly cutting off ties to another.
Your social ties.
Yeah.
And I think that statement is the toughest thing you've ever been through is the toughest thing you've ever been through. And so when you go through a much more primitive time like we did in the past, where your hands were way more involved in everything in survival, but also the way it was a tougher time where executions exist. And you had these crazy warrior barbaric cultures because just staying alive was tough, you know? So if you have those polar opposites, I think that's why they call like the World War II generation the greatest generation that ever lived, because that was the last one where real living. If you were born between like 1890 and 1910, 1920, like you were the last one that your people were starting to get electricity. You probably still people lived out in farmhouses with wells and no power.
They grew up through the Depression,
yeah,
which was a perfect sort of lead-in to making these tough soldiers for World War II. And really not just tough soldiers, but tough people on the home front as well.
And I think World War II, this book talks so much about war, but this was the hardest war ever fought, where it was the most atrocious of killing. Like getting stabbed is bad, but like
I don't
constant
know. World War I sounds pretty awful.
I mean, they're both, but look at the lives.
The Civil War sounds pretty awful. They all sound pretty awful. But
the lives lost in
You're just
World
talking
War II.
in numbers.
Yeah. But also the intensity to have mortars, airplanes to nuclear bombs.
At some point, you go, the technology is getting so, and he talked about that too.
Yeah.
That as the technology gets better, you know, it also makes toughness in a certain way obsolete, because you're having somebody playing a video game drop a freaking rocket onto the fighting tough guys.
Yep.
So the tough guys are you know, still tough as fuck, but when technology outweighs their rocks, you know.
Yeah, that's a great point, because watching these like FPV drone videos that are coming out of Ukraine that's scary as shit.
Scary as hell
to me as like a former infantryman, because that completely nullifies all the techniques we were taught to use cover and concealment. Because pre drones, the battlefield for the most part was two-dimensional, with the exception of air cover once in a while or artillery. Now, with these FPV drones, the battlefield is three-dimensional at all times, and you can't always see it coming. So hiding behind a rock or hiding behind like a depression in the ground no longer works.
Back to Jordan's book, Holes.
Yeah.
Grab your shovels.
Grab your shovels. But even then, the drones can go overhead and find the holes. And so,
you'd have to dig in. You'd have to go mole people.
As technology advances, humans are becoming more like, we're seeing it on the battlefield right now, where humans are becoming obsolete.
Isn't that the plot to The Matrix?
Yeah,
we're going to bury into the earth. Yeah. But that he said in that book, he said one scientist is more valuable than like 10,000 soldiers, because that scientist does get to the point where they create the nuclear bomb. And it's like, I don't care how many guys with guns you give me, it's a lot harder to take over the world, just saying, in a war state with all guys with guns, compared to strategically placing bombs where I sacrifice maybe 100 guys for the whole mission, you know? But that same thing, that tool, I think also rides off the back of life has gotten easier. The reason the toughest thing I said is toughest thing you've ever been through is the toughest thing you've ever been through, is because that last generation was the last to live where you would have a well, no power, things were harder, you were more involved with everything in your daily life for survival, more so than going and getting fast food and shit like that and having constant entertainment. So I think that
today we have 70% of American high school graduates are physically unfit to join the military.
Yeah, life is technology.
Not when we lower the standards.
Yeah,
that's true. Solid point.
Yeah, but technology. Yeah, well, true. That is true. But I think they are also that last generation, because it was the hardest, and it only exponentially got easier. It never went easier and then down, and then easier and then back up. And I think if we in that trajectory, I think we're lost in another war. I think, and that's a huge problem because whoever has the more aggressive, like, what is toughness? What is creating those people? Well, that toughness, I think, in a way, is other countries that were trying to catch up to the ideals of America in the 70s and 80s, especially. And when lifestyle was good, you had kids, you had family, you had the ability to grow and move out. You had people in China, like China finally opened up to the U.S. in the early 70s, you know, and it was poor farmers, millions of people had died, and they grew to a powerhouse of what they are today. I think because we have lived so easily with technology for that next war, what is toughness? I think toughness is everyone wanting that ideal of living that's comfort. And I think that's why other countries...
I'll say that again.
Hey, yeah, run that by me one more time.
That comfort. So
how are we equating toughness and comfort?
So when life is tough, you work hard to be like, maybe tomorrow will be a little bit easier. You're
striving for comfort.
Yes. And America hit that, and we turned around because of the technologies, and we're like, let's just let this feed. This is the next growth. We will put nothing into production. We will put nothing into labor and skill. We are going to foster and maintain this area and foster this growth. And through fostering this, we have become a technological powerhouse. And that's why we have nukes and military planes. And the war drove a lot of that. But that was technology growing. And it gave us culture and movies. And people want to copy us and have a standard of living where you can buy a house and have a yard. And you're not fending for rice in China in the late 60s when your country is falling apart. You live a good life, and those people are shown what America is, and that is maybe an opportunity, or that's a better way of life. We can work harder. Like this idea of a place, I think that the American standard is what the world globally people are kind of trying to work towards, is having that old idea of the 80s. And so I think when you're talking war, those people that live that hard life, that are wanting it better, what they're doing is they're growing and they're catching up too, right? They're moving through technology and gaining money and producing things. But I think where we're at a disadvantage is we put so much into this tech that if there is another war, a big war, America is very, very superior technologically, I believe. But the manpower to carry out a campaign of 10 years, or like a World War II or World War I, a Vietnam, you know, to have the resources to really fight these things where someone else wants to take over your territory or stop you from being the global player. People have always fought throughout history to be this global player, but I think we're in a very vulnerable spot because we've had it so easy that our people lost that toughness of chapter one.
The thing about the toughness today is having the technology and making the choice not to use it. Having the technology and like doing the hard thing. It could be easy or it could be hard, and choosing the hard thing for the sake of doing hard shit.
Yeah, but
that's toughness today, because life can be so fucking easy. Our life can be so easy. I could go get a job sitting at a computer, not doing fuck all. Your hands wouldn't have calluses. I wouldn't go to jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't do anything. My knees wouldn't be fucked up. My back wouldn't be fucked up.
Yeah,
my hands would
be.
Yes,
it would.
No,
because you'd be a skinny, weak, pathetic shell of a man, and you'd sit there with hunched shoulders, and your hands would be all skinny and withered.
No, but I wouldn't be in pain.
I think those people are in a lot of pain because they have that desk-shaped figure that humans are morphing into, where it's like the big fat gut and the man titties.
Do you think that
and
that
they sort
guy
of
is
hunch
in
forward,
as
their
much
shoulders
pain
are
as
rolled
somebody
forward?
with a fucked up knee from jiu-jitsu or
Those
fucking hands that are jacked up? I doubt it.
I think they're in a lot of pain.
I highly doubt it.
I do. I don't.
I do. I don't.
I don't.
I would be willing to bet.
Think about like war though, like that Spartan culture or that warrior culture. Everything is about physical activity. So the more your society,
I'm
is
not
based
saying.
off
I'm not
of
saying
like
being
basic production or like making coffees, doing stuff like infrastructure, not actually creating or doing things. I think it makes the people softer. It's like, here's a filler job, work at Subway. Here's a filler job, do data entry. Here's a filler job to grow these technologies. That is what we are investing all our future energy or money.
Yeah,
money
we need the people to
How much
serve
of
the food.
How much of Twitter's staff did Elon fire? When he
like
was like
70%
70%, which shows you that 70% of the people working there were just kind of sitting around not doing much.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the videos of the people who were like, "Oh yeah, I work at Twitter," and then they'd like go through and be like, "This is a day in the life of somebody who works at Twitter," and they would be like, "I get here, I get breakfast, I go take a nap, I get back up."
But it was perfect. It was a perfect like life in Twitter or Google or whatever that was, because she's like, I get to work at 8 a.m. after I get a community transit bus. I get here, I have a warm cappuccino, then I send some emails. Then it's off to a power session of yoga. And then I send some emails. And then after that, we hit the teriyaki bar that the Twitter supplies, and then I send some emails. Like everything was offset by her just saying, and then I sent some emails. It was awesome. Dude, they had a wine bar.
Dude, I've been to.
It was nuts.
I was working at Expedia, and they had a cocktail hour.
Oh yeah,
They had cocktail. Well, and
dude, I've been sending emails all day. I need a drink.
Well, so what I was told was that those people, you know, the techie guys that are just, you know, they need something to loosen up to be able to work with other people.
Oh, like they're so toe walker.
Yeah, they're just very much
Hang on.
needing to.
Have they ever met the fucking weirdos that are on construction sites?
Oh, no, hey,
Which, to be fair, I guess half those guys are drinking while they're working anyway.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's what I was told. It was like
A nerd and a laborer meeting up at a bar and getting wasted together might be my most favorite thing to ever witness.
Yeah.
When you guys put it like that, it sounds fun.
yeah, because there was that, and then tequila, like just bottles of
getting
tequila
hammered
left
at
around the
work.
office. It was like, what the fuck? But that's the thing, is like, if that was on a job site, you know how fucked that would be?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
They're just fighting.
people would just be getting hammered. If they were like, all right, guys, we're going to let
Wine
you guys
bar.
drink. We're going to,
Yeah.
Wine bar.
Gentlemen, wine bar by the
wine
porta
bar is right
potty.
over by the porta potty. Yeah.
What is that, a Merlot?
Oh, shit.
yeah, that wouldn't work out well. I
But
don't
that's
think.
what I mean. Like, that is the technology. Like beer is fermentation, but wine is sophistication, and that's science and technology. But that creates the type of guy that probably drinks wine and maybe a guy that drinks beer. And is the beer guy tougher? Like, that's an honest question.
Well, we all know this.
I like wine.
I'm a big wine guy myself. Yeah,
It is nice. I'm refined.
I like wine a lot.
It's not bad. But I prefer beer.
I go back and forth. It depends.
I can have a nice
night,
cold beer.
At night, like drinking some wine at night. Oh fuck!
Nighttime's the best.
I'm ready to go. Yeah,
A day wine, like
Yeah,
when you
not
still got to
drinking.
keep doing
yeah.
stuff.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
But I'll drink beer.
Yeah.
I'll drink beer with breakfast, but not wine. So there you go.
Sophisticated.
That's why when you go out to brunch and people are like mimosas, it's like, dude, people get hammered at those brunches because you're just pounding wine and OJ.
Just
You're
fucking
hydrating
sugar.
yourself to get drunker. Yeah.
Although that Good Morning Beautiful.
I love a good coffee. Like I told you about hunting. It was like, this
The
is
greatest.
a game changer. Yeah.
What's in that?
It is Amaretto. Is it
Amaretto?
Amaretto?
Amaretto.
Amaretto. Brandy. Coffee. I had it written down somewhere.
Fair enough.
It's good. It's good. And then there's one that has instead of brandy, it's cognac.
But
Man,
I don't like drinking caffeine past like noon. Like give me some energy drinks, give me some coffee, give me whatever. Yeah. But like, I don't like doing it late at night because even if I fall asleep, I feel like it fucks with my sleep. Yeah, I like having it out of my system for at least like 8,
dude.
12 hours.
By
noon, I'm awake.
By noon, I need it to get home. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so jazzed. I watched Seinfeld on the way home.
I'm falling asleep in the car on the way home driving, swerving. Grrr, grrr, if I don't have coffee.
God damn.
Yeah. It's not an addiction, I swear.
But, well, I don't like doing it past late hours.
I get what
Mike
you're saying.
needs his beauty sleep.
Yeah, I can
But
tell.
drinking coffee.
You've been drinking a lot of coffee lately, huh?
No.
Oh.
When you drank that coffee last night, it's like it tastes so delicious. But drinking coffee at night, at 8:00 at night with booze for dinner, it's like, dude, I'm gonna be so full and up till 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, like I don't want to witness this. Just give me the booze, But
I fell right asleep. It was great.
did you really?
Oh yeah, I went home and
Because you're drinking it on the way home, dude. Your body doesn't know when it's stopping.
I guess.
When we used to go out to Seattle, we would get these things called flatliners, and they would do a double shot of espresso. Like they would brew fresh espresso, and then they'd pour in like chocolate liqueurs and brandies and then they'd serve it in a glass with like mint and it was a legit Seattle bar with that made these things. Dude, they would limit you at 2 of them. They're like, we can't serve you more than that. The amount of alcohol and caffeine, you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, this is going
They were the best things ever.
Really?
Oh, you would spend all night. You were never the guy that's like, hey, give me the keys. I'm going to go sleep in the car. You're the dude coming back with sandwiches like that you bought off the street vendor. Go. You're the hero. Yeah. They're awesome.
That's awesome.
So Dan Carlin.
I know.
Yeah, oops. That happens,
Hey, that's life.
It's a tough book to talk about because all he really did was give examples from history of here's where civilizations destroyed themselves. And then right as you thought, he caught me both times. Right as I thought he was about to put a bow on it and tie it all in together, it's like, and I hope you enjoyed Audibles. The end. It's like, oh, shit. Yeah.
Well, the plague and disease was an interesting, that one and the nuclear one. I feel like I talked a lot about the nuclear one with, I think, is what is happening currently. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But the disease one was interesting.
Because to me, that one's far more likely. If our grid were to go down, our water treatment immediately goes down. And the pestilence that would run through modern society would be fucking massive.
Not only local disease and just treatment and management of drinking water and sanitary conditions around you, but like he said, I didn't know. I never really thought about the idea of ghost ships. Remember ghost ships in that book? I saw the movie and I thought that's what it was, like a haunted ship. But when a disease would happen in a crazy market or filthy area and we had the ability for further travel, like a ship would ship out and a bunch of people would get disease.
Smallpox or whatever, and they'd all be dead.
They'd all die on the ship, or which is where Ghost Ship came from, which I thought was cool. Or they would travel to their port. A couple guys would die on the way. They would spread it. And now this area has it.
Yeah.
And before they can address it, another boat leaves. And it makes me think, it's like, yeah, that's why things like COVID or fucking a crazy flu or, I don't think monkeypox is, we have to worry about it unless we get wild boys.
Wait, yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing tonight?
Jordan's been a bad boy.
Oops.
Bad bottom.
No way, dude.
Always at top.
Yeah. Come on.
Viva la resistance.
Can't you tell? Can't you tell?
The beard speaks for itself.
He pushes back.
But having travel, people flying on planes. Did you ever see that movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and stuff? That was a good one.
That was like one of the number one Netflix fucking streams when
during
COVID.
Get people good and scared.
But dude, that was also something that was trying to be addressed at the very beginning of COVID. Remember that when Trump was shut down the borders, don't let anybody in, and everybody was like, he's
Pelosi
racist.
says he's xenophobic.
He's xenophobic. He's racist, and it's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, 3 months later, they're like, we got to shut down the borders.
Everyone get a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what'll be interesting is we do still have people streaming across the border, and they're talking monkeypox. Will be the next
a bunch of gays streaming across the border. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, bunch of gay Chinese coming in across the southern border,
carrying monkeypox in their butt.
But it would be interesting to see how they reconcile monkeypox lockdown versus open border policy.
I mean,
they're going to shut it down, right? That's the plan. Is shutting down.
Maybe
the border.
Just say you're heading down to the border, and they won't lock you up. I'm running the other way.
So what's the deal with I hate to get off this book, but I think we've wrapped it up.
Hunting season.
No. What's the deal with Kennedy getting in there?
RFK?
He's joining Trump's campaign in a limited capacity, and I think I guess Trump said that if elected, he will appoint Kennedy as some sort of investigator to look into the assassinations of RFK, JFK,
Trump,
Martin Luther King Jr., and the attempted assassination of Trump.
Interesting. That's kind of crazy.
But also, I want that to happen, but RFK's whole thing, and if he gets on, is about health in America, which I think is something that's been
good.
It has been deviated harshly towards what real health is and what health care is being provided, and also common knowledge. But I think that's the biggest thing. Like, that panel is cool. I want that. That should just be this many years after JFK assassination, and like they're still slow leaking stuff. It's like, dude, whoever was in power is dead, or you can't really put them in jail. You know what I mean?
And to be fair, Trump did promise his first time around that he was going to declassify all the JFK papers.
Yes.
And then he did not.
Yes. Broken promises.
Yeah.
But you got RFK now, and it's like, oh, that might actually fuel the fire. Plus, he got shot. So it's like, hey, I got some skin in the game.
He's pissed.
Yeah, let's find out.
Yeah.
Well.
But I think that's a good thing. And I also think that's a lot of
I think
people that are swing voters were going to vote RFK.
Yes. And
because
he pulled them all to Trump's side.
He was a Democrat, and a lot of Democrats didn't like Biden because they could see the writing on the wall. They weren't. Some people are like party above person, but I think what swing voters are person above party.
Yes.
Tell me good things and really show me you've made it happen.
It's
and
the
you're
few
gonna
people
make
who
it.
still actually want to hear the policies before they make a decision.
Think a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of swing people were like, I'm going to vote for RFK. And then they wouldn't grant him protection. They just kept butting him out. And it's like he couldn't even get on the ballots in states. So he goes, fuck it, I'll run independent. And no one's going to win independent, but that independent's going to steal votes.
Yeah.
And they're going to steal a good amount when it's RFK. And then that independent says, I'm done, and they go with a Republican candidate, you're going to steal so many votes away. It's like, let's see what the polls become now.
It's a big change, and it was a genius move to announce it on the day that Kamala Harris was speaking at the DNC. Because it completely white noised her out.
Do you have thoughts on the DNC, especially how they set people up to speak? Who was a key speaker on the first night?
Biden.
I didn't watch it.
And what night does the current president
5.
speak? Yeah, the last fucking night. They wanted to get him push the old man through the door first.
Get him in and out.
now we're going to hit you with fucking Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they kept building it.
Yep.
And I think, and it's so crazy to see that throughout the time of those conventions, the president's always last to speak. That was the first time ever. And then they got all the old presidents, got the crew together, put on the bowling jackets. We're going to talk. Kamala's going to dance. She's going to drink some wine. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it.
Well, I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen any of it.
Read the highlights.
I haven't read it, haven't seen it, didn't even know it happened.
It shouldn't really even matter at this point because it also they basically subverted their own process by not allowing a primary. They removed the incumbent.
That's what we've all been saying, and everybody, all the left-leaning motherfuckers
just
are
jump on the
acting like it's no
bandwagon
big deal.
right away.
And it's like, well,
That's
they
party
didn't
person.
exactly do that. That's not exactly
right.
what
That's
they have.
loyalty.
That's party above
That's
person.
loyalty to the party, comrade.
Yeah, that's what
Not
shit.
which that's
No
that
shit.
right there is a scary statement.
But that's why I say like the RFK move is a very smart because swing voters are us, the people. If some guy was a Democrat and he's like, hey, I want guns to be illegal, taxes are too high, this isn't the way the people should be treated, it's like, that guy makes a lot of sense right now. Yep. You know, I don't care. I care about the person, not the party. Mm-hmm. And I think RFK is going to steal so many more votes to Trump. And I think, but people have Trump syndrome still. He's been the bad guy forever in press. You know, but maybe that's what the swing voter is. You got one group that's like, he can't do any wrong. And they're like, this guy's kind of an asshole, but he's got a Democrat guy that I like. He's making sense. There's drugs and border problems and war.
Yeah. There's also rumors that by the time this episode drops, more lifetime Democratic names will have joined the Trump campaign sort of unity party.
Yeah. Trump is unity. I like that, dude.
Which that, to me, speaks back to my conspiracy theory that Trump is the true authoritarian coming in, because they're trying now. Both sides are jumping in behind him, and everybody be like, "Yay, this is it. We're going to clean up our country. Get all the facial recognition cameras out there.
Yeah,
everybody stay home."
Yeah, I don't know about that. I like it. I like them at the border. I don't like them at my McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, keep them out of my Safeway parking lot. But
they're already there, brother.
I know they are, dude. I fucking know.
Good luck with that.
I was looking at investing.
There's one sitting on the table right in front of you.
Oh, I know. It's caught me a couple times in a compromised situation.
An old necktie around my neck hanging from my closet.
Yeah.
Sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, giving the old Chris Cornell.
Chandra, plug in the vacuum.
Don't bug me.
His room's always so clean.
Dude, the carpet's fucking immaculate.
We got shag, too. It's wild. I don't know how he gets it. That vacuum's always on.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the book was kind of...
It just never... It built and built and built and never got anywhere. Is what I felt like.
Yeah.
But that's why I said it's like talking to me. I feel like there's a point... No, there's a point in being like, what are the biggest like conclusions of this? I don't know where I'm going, but I know this leads down a road. So it's like, it made me think of certain things, like I said, travel and how fast you can make disease happen as a global pandemic. It's faster than it's ever been available, especially with flights. You think about what is toughness about people, where are we going as a culture? And I think that also leads into like another major war and how that affects the people that would be recruited, or maybe we don't have the people, so we use the tools. We didn't talk a ton about the nuclear chapter on it, but
it's just like a mass Armageddon. There's not much to talk about.
Yeah, they just
if everybody starts launching nukes,
in 7 minutes or whatever, it's all done.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, it's a real sad situation.
Did you guys get your potassium iodide yet?
No. I'm hoping that it, like, who was saying it? If we get nuked, I hope it just hits me on the head.
God, dude. I'm gonna be holding both of you as you pass. You guys are just gonna be like
as
ashy gray, and I feel so good.
Yeah, hit record.
Yeah.
Hey, Podcast America.
Pee break.
Why didn't you take this? I just got your skeletons. You guys are dead 3 years later. Well,
it's like Castaway.
Yeah, the stand.
Or Wilson.
Bunch of duct tape holding your bones together. So, you guys, what'd you do this weekend?
MOON. That spells moon.
Never stop.
Yeah, man.
I wasn't disappointed. It's just, I don't know. I read disaster books and love all these stats, but it's like,
I just wish there was more of a flow where it didn't feel easy to follow because he was kind of jumping from thing to thing.
All like, this happened, and this happened, and this happened.
Yeah, but it was, each chapter was its own thing that he would talk about for an hour. So it was like human toughness. It was disease. It was invading areas like, that was a whole of like Mongols or what are barbarians or what. And look what's happened in the border. There's a thing about nuclear. There's a chapter about fucking
it's all
disease.
Relevant to what's happening today.
Yeah. So but it's like
it just wasn't.
There was no conclusion. So it leaves you feeling.
It felt repetitive.
Yeah.
I guess is what I feel like. A lot of it just kind of felt repetitive, which I don't mind. And to me, it felt a lot like his podcast. Like there was a lot in there like that.
You know what's crazy though?
Like we said, he fully admitted it. When I went back and listened to the very first fucking part of it,
it's in like the first minute.
he was like, "Hey, just so you know,
Yeah.
I get random here, so go with it." And it's like, all right, fair. So
He said the best thing about history is that it never stops writing itself. And the things that annihilated societies or like civilizations, he spoke about. That seemed to be pretty much that ever did it. But that phrase, history doesn't stop writing. There could be a crazy solar flare or something that kills half the earth. You could truly have aliens come and fuck people over. Like,
Again.
and that's, yeah. And yeah. But it's like, yeah, history doesn't stop writing itself. And it's nuts to be like, I'm a passenger on this and I got to see everything or try and understand this much of the past. But like, as the world keeps getting like turning every day, it seems to get more and more bizarre. And it's like, what is the chapter that he didn't write that maybe we are going to live through or the next generation will live through? What is that chapter that we don't even know yet? Like there's nuclear, there's disease, but like maybe
The global financial crash of 2025.
yeah, exactly. Doesn't stop writing itself, brother.
nope. But well,
Pee break?
no, I'm just thinking about
Sponsored
hunting
by.
now.
Hunting? Oh, let's take a pee break. I got my backpack for him.
Oh,
No
eat.
bad.
All right, we'll be back.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking badass though. That's a sweet pack. Or it's, whatever pack you end up choosing is going to be legit, but that's top of the line fucking bad boy shit.
Feels good on the body. Mm-hmm. Mine has so much sway, and that's even when I strap everything down, it's like I hate that wiggle. Mm-hmm. And when I put yours on for the first time, it was like, oh, this is glued to me with that frame.
Yeah.
And it's like I like in that hip belt and the lumbar pad. So it's like, let's upgrade. We'll see.
No, it makes a big difference. But especially like on long distance carrying heavy weight, like it makes a big difference because, like you said, that sway takes so much energy.
Yeah.
But not that I've fucking packed a bunch of different heavy shit like with the backpack that was all swaying, except for long.
My camp is usually way too heavy. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
well, that's what I mean. Like just doing that kind of stuff. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about packing out huge quarters on bullshit packs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's gonna make a big difference. And then the sleeping bag also, like I said, that makes a big difference too.
I'm kind of most excited about that.
So,
Taking a nap.
Yeah, just staying warm and taking a nap.
Yeah, I'd like to change my sleeping pad, and then I'd like to upgrade the sleeping bag, or not necessarily upgrade, but just get another one that's a little bit lighter. That wouldn't necessarily have to be so bulky.
What do you carry now? How much does it weigh?
Oh, I'm not sure what I'd imagine. It's probably 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, something like that. It's 0 degree.
Like some guys will take like a 5 pound, like fluffy filled sleeping bag, but it's like, well, sacrifice. What do you like? How important is sleep?
Yeah.
Maybe that's
mine
worth
might
it
be
to you.
three.
Back in the
something.
day, we used to say travel light, freeze at night, and these days I bring fresh steaks and whiskey, and I will bring a heavy sleeping bag.
Yeah, cast iron skillets and shit. I mean, honestly, like the kind of hunting we've done, it's the kind of hunting where you're making memories, you're having a good time, you're camping, you're relatively close to the rig. Although there's been a couple where it's hiked in and it's like, you can't bring all the fucking cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the cast iron skillet and the camp chef, but when you have
that's car. There's two types of hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
There's car hunting where that's your base, and then there's I'm going to go backpack for a few days.
It's nice to have that camp chef sitting at the truck so that
Waiting.
when we got back after
yeah.
4 days or whatever it was, and you were making burgers, and it was like,
you want
best
you want
burger
food,
ever.
you want
Oh
coffee,
my
and you
God.
want some booze. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in I want a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off of this mountain.
Yeah. Well, that's the
It was the worst night's sleep 'cause we slept in the truck.
Yeah. Would have said
I left that. Yeah. I left the.
You
day
left
after.
immediately. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was a good little hike to get up there. Mm-hmm. Plus, you're so high up. It's like you're winded hiking that.
I was excited though because that was my bivvy
Test.
That was
test.
your beta test.
And dude, it was money.
Yes.
That
What do
thing was
you
money.
need a new sleeping bag for?
Just to put into the bivvy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no, there's no reason.
Did you get cold up there?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, then you're
No,
good.
I
Because
was-
what was it,
I
like
was
17 degrees or something?
No, I'll get hot.
Oh.
I get hot.
Then you don't need a new sleeping bag.
No, you do because then you're not getting oils on your, the skin oil. I don't want to sweat on this sleeping bag.
Yeah, I've washed mine. And it's like, it doesn't work the same.
No, it never works the same, dude. I haven't washed mine yet, and it's been fucking a decade.
Oh,
Well, that's
why you need a new sleeping bag.
They have those liners too. People will get where
Yeah.
it's like kind of like
Well, you can
in your
take-
bed, like the top sheet, and your
It's like it's in case you piss in your sleeping bag.
it's like a diaper, it's like a condom diaper. You just crawl in, dude. You're hammered hunting. You just piss your sleeping bag.
No, I don't. You can take your sleeping bag in and to like because it's
Dry
a feather
clean
friend
it?
and they'll clean it. But the
Is
thing
that-
is, my sleeping bag is fucked up because I had a headlamp, and my headlamp burnt a perfectly round hole into the inside of my sleeping bag, and it's like fuck. That was an expensive motherfucking sleeping bag to have a
Expensive headlamp.
Oh, it was a bullshit
Yeah,
headlamp.
that's two
dude.
things. One, that's a good headlamp. Two, that's what duct tape's for, dude.
That's what I did, but now I want to wash this thing, and it's like, can I wash it with tenacious tape on it?
I double up. I double up on the tape.
So I put tenacious tape on the inside.
Little PVC glue on there, melt it together.
I shoved it in there, and then I pulled it back out to create, and then I put the.
Why don't you just sew her
tape.
up? Put a little patch over her.
I
Like,
probably could, but I don't.
even
know
like
how.
jean material. You didn't take home ec? Didn't they teach you to sew, boy?
No, dude.
No.
No, they got. Rid
I
of
can
all
rock a
those classes.
machine and freehand.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
A cross stitch, a fucking solid cross
Let's
stitch.
not
that
get
goes up-
crazy. I'm putting buttons on over here.
Yeah, I would like to upgrade, or again, just get another sleeping bag. 'Cause it's nice to have, like
yeah, no, I agree.
It's nice to have, like when it's like, oh, we're going out at summertime. It's gonna be fucking 50 degrees tonight, and
Take your 0 degree.
then you crawl into a 0 degree sleeping bag. And it's like this is fucking miserable.
sweat all night.
Why are we in the jungle?
Yeah. So
That's where that diaper sack comes into play.
no
yeah.
shit. Well, I've seen they have wool liners, they have
Yeah.
silk liners,
And
they
they're
have
supposed to
cotton
add like
liners.
10, 15 degrees, and it's
Yeah.
very thin. So
Yeah.
it doesn't add a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad little, if
No,
I don't want to
it's-
spend hundreds of dollars on
it's
a
the
new
move.
bag,
It's definitely
maybe get
the
an
move.
insert.
Oh, yeah, that's true because mine's a 20-degree bag and it's not enough for
Yeah.
Yeah, so
what
if
we
you
did
get a
last year.
15-degree increase from a little,
a little wool liner. That's a good idea.
And a different. What kind of pad are you using?
Climate?
Is it? Do you know what the R value is?
No, probably like 2 or 3.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that helps quite a bit too. Getting insulated from the ground.
Yeah, it's fairly thick.
Yeah. The one I have is that it's got like the reflective material on the inside of it, so it's crinkly as fuck.
Crunch.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Sounds like I'm trying to open a wrapper all night. Like, God damn it, Jordan. And chances are I was.
eating a 3 Musketeer bar, extra crinkles. Yeah.
It's a king size. I'm trying, guys. No, that it does make a big difference though. The thing is, I fucking hate that's the one piece of equipment that like it's like I really wouldn't mind getting that's like it's so extravagant that it's like, okay, you fucking bitch, which is one of those blow up like little air compressor battery powered blower.
Oh, for camping that or, yeah.
Just to blow up your
Sleeping pad?
Your sleeping pad, because I fucking hate getting to camp and blowing up the sleeping pad. That is one camp task I fucking hate. Like, I dread it. I fucking dread it with everything.
Dude, where we went for deer last year, we were at like 8,000 feet and we huffed it in. And then it was that final walk. I was like, God, I'm lightheaded. We went and set up camp. I had to blow up my pad. I'm like, they're going to find me face down with my feet sticking out of the tent.
I have to take a step away from the fire in case I pass out.
I got so dizzy blowing up that pad. And then everyone's like, let's go. And it's like,
Shit.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely miserable. No, I'm not a fan of that. I would love to get one of those. It's like a little fan, little compressor thing.
They're small though. They're like
tiny.
Yeah.
They're tiny, and it's like, oh, that's sick.
What do they run on? Just a single like AA?
No, it's like
Fuck that.
two AA's.
I got it. Take like a whippet, a CO2 cartridge with you, and figure out a way to fucking.
That's not a bad
they make
move.
those.
and just watch it go. Yeah.
There's bike tire.
Fuck.
It's like an airbag. Yeah.
They make them. There's
What?
a bike
For tires.
Bike tire and
Oh,
fillers
yeah.
for those things.
But you
could
need a
just
little
put it into
mouth
the-
adapter to get around the sleeping pad.
Yeah, you'd have to just come up with some little hillbilly engineered valve
Little
stem.
tenacious tape.
Because those aren't heavy.
No, that'd be fucking actually pretty slick.
Yeah.
I wonder how much. I wonder if it would fill it up. Like how much CO2.
It just doesn't raise. Fuck.
Fuck. Yeah. You got a bunch of canisters. Or fucking,
I brought 20 of them. They weigh nothing.
yeah.
It's like Everest. You'd leave the empties up there.
Fuck it. What? Somebody up here taking whippets.
Just go to the top of a mountain to do whippets.
Wah, 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 wah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I would love to. We didn't get hardly any camping in this summer.
I did nothing this summer.
I
I've
did-
been so
It's
busy.
so crazy. Like
And it
this-
feels like summer is over because it's mid-August and it started raining already.
yeah. This upcoming
it's
week's
nice
supposed to
again.
be really nice,
Bullshit.
but
It's nice from here on out
Is it?
in the forecast.
before the end of the summer, I would like to either cook a pig on the property or cook a lamb on the property.
Yeah.
One last little closeout for the summer,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
you know, and then everybody just camp out there and just close the gate behind us
Yeah.
and just do our thing for a weekend. It'd be cool. Just a bunch of people from the gym.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm thinking about camping and gear and all the other shit. So like I'm on a whole different wavelength.
I have not done a good job keeping myself in shape this year, and I need to start putting weights in my pack and just walking with it to make sure I can go this.
You know
fall.
what pisses me off?
Yeah, let's hear it. What really grinds your gears,
What
Jordan?
grinds my ass here is we get here, Tobin's laying in the fucking in the sun.
Yeah.
You get up and you're like fucking jacked. Your shoulders, you got veins coming out of your shoulders and shit, and I'm like, you motherfucker. You fucking cocksucker.
Yeah.
I'm like,
We all want Tobin
You guys,
body.
you guys should try a little harder.
were you a swimmer?
It's if you try harder, it's not that. It's
So you're
much
like,
easier.
I haven't been in shape.
Try
Eat
harder.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Try harder.
I think it's my German fucking genetics are just meant to
Could be your
keep-
German diet.
fuck you, dude. Keep a little extra on,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, for the winter.
For
Winter's coming, dude.
the lovin'.
Yeah, exactly. This is this fuel tank here.
So I take it you guys have not been out walking with your packs on. Mike, you got a new pack. You got to
like-
put some weights on there.
I brought a kettlebell to work. I'm the only weirdo that has a kettlebell at a paint
Use it
shop.
for a
with
doorstop.
But
But yeah, he brought it.
It's there.
I've been working on my fucking legs, dude.
Yes.
Knee injuries, trying to get over them for hunting.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
I know, yeah.
I'm worried
just
about this. I'm worried about the knee for this season, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more than just the LCL. I think I'm really looking at quite a bit of
Damage.
loose shit going on in there.
Also, it happened recently.
Yeah, but I mean, about the same time, was it 2018? I tore my other one off the bone completely, and I made it through hunting season just fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
You got to get
planned-
past the initial injury,
I
especially if
planned
all
the-
kinds of stuff happen. It's like, yeah, it's going to take longer.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. There was other twisties happening in there that
You'll get more stable as time goes, but it's like you'll kind of find out what's wrong. I mean, doing the surgery is one thing, but also PT, you got to give yourself PT once you recover, though.
But that's the thing is, like, I haven't stopped fucking working,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
so,
but that's fine. I did too.
yeah.
But it's like it will get stronger as time goes on. And it's then you got to train your muscles in those awkward motions where it's like there's lateral stuff or twisty stuff where knees do not want to work. Yeah. And especially post-injury, I always notice it slides way more. Yeah. Like I had meniscus fall. My knee would slide in and out. It was horrible.
Yeah. I'm thinking that it'll buff out, but it's going to be I'm braced up more than I've ever been braced up. You know what I mean? Like, so because of that, I think a lot of muscles are getting weaker because I'm using a brace, like some stabilization muscles maybe. But I haven't stopped doing anything really, except getting on my knees and like getting to like receptacles and shit. I have to like angle my body all weird. So now my hip is starting to hurt a little bit.
You're that guy who has to like lay on your side to trim a receptacle.
Yeah, fuck, it's the worst. I end up taking this leg and leaving it up and just turning sideways, but I have trimmed a receptacle pretty fucking.
Yeah, but it's lying down. I'll still say it's still fresh. How long are you post the actual thing? Like a month?
3 weeks.
Yeah, not even a month, dude.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's how it goes though. Your body heals fast and slow at the same time.
BPC 157.
We'll see what happens.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
So I'm hoping that it's really going to do some work.
That's a growth hormone predecessor. Is that correct?
No, it's a peptide of. Honestly, I don't know all the science behind it, but what I've seen is like it's a peptide that's made in your stomach, but this is a synthetic version of it. And it helps get all the collagen and all that stuff going to damaged cells. Okay. So it'll help repair.
Okay.
It's good for meniscus too, especially
all the ligaments, all that stuff. The problem is it's not exactly above board with the FDA. No, I know. So, but what is above board isn't okay with me most of the time.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
But some studies show like them cutting the Achilles tendon in rats and then that growing back together.
Holy shit.
So it's like could possibly be
some of that in my knees.
Yeah. It could be the real deal. We'll find out. I'll let you know. All right. But the people that I know who have tried it are like, this is fucking legit.
I know Rogan has talked about it and the fact that UFC fighters use it to recover after like gnarly fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the real deal. Okay. And I was talking to another buddy who his knees fucked up and he was going to the doctor and the doctor brought up peptides and this and that. And so he was like, well, what do you think about BPC 157? And the doctor kind of was more or less like, all the guys who were my patients are no longer my patients, you know, being a surgeon and they don't need surgery anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fucking A, there you go. So hopefully it's the real deal and doesn't end up making me grow fucking,
turns you gay. Gayer.
Turns them straight.
Makes them gay.
Wait a second, guys.
Bad news, guys. I got gayer.
Growing a rat tail out of the back of my fucking neck.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll be way better for hunting.
Maybe.
Just gotta see how it goes. Keep nursing her, dude. Like I said, get Chandra to rub it.
Yeah, fucking good luck,
dude. Get her to rub it.
I'll try again, see what happens. Chances are that's a no-go. Even if it was.
Then you gotta rub it.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I do? I used to put spoons in the freezer, and then when I'd go, I'd put a show on, and I'd grab the lotion, and I'd lather my leg up with lotion. Man. But I'd take that frozen spoon and put my thumb in it, and I'd rub it deep into like the scar tissue, and it fucking hurts. But something about that frozen spoon helps, like, even though you're breaking shit up, it kind of cools it at the same time. And it's weird getting like a cold massage. Like you think heat to push things out, but that cold like fucks up with the swelling. And so you can really just jam it in there.
It's like a what are the boxer shoes that
cold steel?
Yeah, the cold steel and just fucking.
But that's where you're pushing on it and taking all that heat out of it and
pushing that blood to the side so you can get punched in the face again.
Yeah, exactly. But for scar tissue, I think it's good too.
Yeah, it breaks it up a little bit.
I think so, and pull that cold pulls something out of it. or
Yeah,
put
'cause,
something
like,
into it.
The scar tissue, when it comes to ligaments, like scar tissue builds the ligament back, and then and it's unorderly or something like that, right? So it's not what do they call it? They call it something where it's not like it's kind of random, right? And it just the scar tissue builds, and then over time, the scar tissue will eventually like get organized and create the ligament.
A new ligament.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but it just takes a long time to get all the way to that. So we'll see. I didn't trust the doctor that told me I needed the surgery anyway.
No, he's looking to make profit.
I think so.
Yeah.
It felt very like, like the Porsche needed a payment. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was like.
But I think that's good. You want good health care. The best thing you can do is be knowledgeable about your body and real options and like take it. You know, what do you think is the best stop? Maybe you do get surgery, but it's like, well, maybe you have to find out. Maybe it goes out and you're like, shit, this is completely gone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, there was times when I was like, I was told I need surgery and I didn't. But then I did something where it's like, oh, no, fucked it up. I do need surgery. But a surgeon sees cutting. That's all he sees.
Yeah,
he doesn't see peptides. So he's going to be like, something's fucked up. Let me go in there and fix it. Does it need fixing? Do I need this intrusive operation where you put me out?
No.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you do, but you should always try to stay away.
Yeah.
Well, the LCL will heal itself.
Does it?
Right? The LCL will heal itself. But he was like, at your age, it won't do very good. It's like 34 years old. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. So
18, probably 16 is optimal.
Yeah, fucking things barely done formed already.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, I think, when you heal the best. That's why, like, when you see kids that get into weightlifting and like 16, 17, like their bodies really change because it's the most adaptable. It has the most, not only of like the testosterone starting going through them, but like the growth factors, and you just regenerate and you're never tired and you bounce back.
I miss those days, dude. I really do. It would have been fun to like know what you know now and use your body at that time, you know? Because I was told, like, you know, you're going to be strong. You do this. You're just going to keep lifting. You're going to be strong. And it's like.
If I knew things like kettlebells and different workouts back then, I would have focused so much more on that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Just
it was just lift.
Yeah.
It's fucking pecs and buys.
Yeah, pecs and delts.
Yeah. Oh, well. It was fun, though.
Book report, boys. That was a good one.
Yep. I think we're calling it right there. I'm going to make an executive decision. I do think we need to get back in the habit of telling people to like and subscribe to the podcast, and also leave us a review on Spotify or iTunes, because that helps the algorithm help other people find us.
Absolutely.
And these riveting book reports. Have a good night.